Welcome back to our channel. Today we're uncovering the heartbreaking and tumultuous life of Dana Plato, the actress best known for her role as Kimberly Drummond on the beloved TV sitcom Diff'rent Strokes. While her on-screen charm captured the hearts of millions, Dana's life behind the scenes was filled with extraordinary highs and devastating lows. From her early rise to stardom to the personal struggles that shaped her later years, Dana's story is one of fame, addiction, resilience, and tragedy. Join us as we dive into her journey, from the bright lights of Hollywood to the shadowy depths of her struggles, and reveal what really happened to the star who left us far too soon. Childhood born on November 7, 1964, in Maywood, California, Dana Michelle Plato entered a world that, from the very beginning, was fraught with challenges. Her biological mother, facing the difficulties of being unwed in an era when societal pressures were far more rigid, made the life-altering decision to place Dana for adoption. At just 7 months old, Dana found herself with a new family. She was adopted by Dean Plato, a trucking company owner, and his wife Florine, who hoped to provide her with stability and love. However, life soon threw another curveball her way. When Dana was only 3 years old, her adoptive parents divorced, fracturing the very foundation of her young world. The separation led Dana to live primarily with her adoptive mother, Florine, a pivotal figure who would play a significant role in shaping the early trajectory of Dana's life. Florine Plato, Dana's adoptive mother, was ambitious and believed in Dana's potential. She dreamed of her daughter becoming a Hollywood star, not just having a stable life. A firm believer in the power of early exposure, Florine started taking Dana to auditions and casting calls when she was just a baby, determined to nurture the natural charm and charisma she saw in her daughter. Despite her outward composure, Dana reportedly struggled emotionally after her parents' divorce at age 3. Friends and family would later recall how Dana often channeled her feelings of uncertainty into her creative pursuits, pouring herself into acting and figure skating as a way to cope. Even at a young age, Dana had this spark, a family friend once noted. She had a way of lighting up a room, but you could tell she was carrying more on her shoulders than most kids her age. Florine, recognizing Dana's potential, even as a toddler, began taking her to casting calls while she was still a baby. This decision marked the start of a life immersed in the world of showbiz, long before Dana could fully grasp what it meant. By the tender age of 7, Dana was not just an ordinary child. She was already appearing in television commercials and films, showcasing a natural talent that set her apart from her peers. But Dana's aspirations weren't limited to the screen. She was also training to become a figure skater, demonstrating an extraordinary level of discipline and determination at such a young age. Balancing the rigorous demands of both acting and skating would have been a monumental challenge for anyone, let alone a child. It speaks to her remarkable drive and the influence of her mother, who seemed determined to carve out a path of success for her daughter. Career beginnings and rise to fame. At just 13 years old in 1977, Dana Plato stood at a pivotal crossroads in her life. She faced a choice that would shape her future in ways few teenagers could imagine. Would she pursue her dream of becoming an Olympic figure skater or take a leap into acting? It was a daunting decision, but Dana chose the latter, a move that would propel her into Hollywood stardom and set the stage for a life filled with both dazzling highs and heartbreaking lows. Dana's big break came when she landed the role of Kimberly Drummond on NBC's hit sitcom Diff'rent Strokes. The show, which revolved around a wealthy widower who adopts 2 young boys from Harlem, was an instant success. Dana Plato's journey to securing the role of Kimberly Drummond was far from ordinary. The audition process for Diff'rent Strokes was competitive, with hundreds of young actors vying for a chance to be part of what would become a cultural phenomenon. Dana's natural charisma and warmth stood out to the casting directors, who saw in her an ability to convey both innocence and depth, a perfect fit for Kimberly's character. As the series progressed, her role evolved from being the sweet, supportive sister to tackling more complex storylines. In one particularly memorable episode, Kimberly confronts issues of self-esteem and body image, delivering a heartfelt performance that resonated deeply with young viewers. Reflecting on her time on set, Dana would later admit to feeling a mix of exhilaration and pressure. While she cherished the opportunity to act, the grueling schedule often left her struggling to balance her love for figure skating with the demands of her growing stardom. "I wanted to be on the ice and in front of the camera," she once said, "but there were days when I felt like I was being pulled in two directions." Co-starring alongside Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, and Charlotte Rae, Dana quickly became part of one of the most iconic casts in television history. Fans loved her portrayal of Kimberly, the sweet and caring teenage daughter, and her charm and relatability made her an instant favorite among audiences. As the show climbed the ratings charts, Dana's face was everywhere: magazine covers, TV interviews, and promotional events. The media dubbed her America's sweetheart, and fans flooded the cast with letters expressing their admiration. One fan wrote, "Dana is everything I aspire to be: beautiful, talented, and kind." The attention was overwhelming, but also exhilarating for a teenager suddenly thrust into the limelight. For millions of viewers, Diff'rent Strokes wasn't just a sitcom. It was a cultural touchstone, and Dana Plato was a key part of its charm. Behind the scenes, however, the pressures of fame were mounting. Dana and her young co-stars struggled to navigate the overwhelming demands of stardom. The bright lights of Hollywood often came with a darker side, and for Dana, the transition from an ordinary teenager to a household name was anything but smooth. With constant scrutiny from the press and the relentless pace of production, the young cast found themselves in a world where the line between reality and performance often blurred. The pressures eventually led Dana and her co-stars into a hedonistic lifestyle, indulging in substances like marijuana and cocaine. It wasn't uncommon for child stars of the era to fall into such traps, as the industry often failed to protect them from the pitfalls of sudden fame. Tabloids began to pick up on whispers of their off-screen struggles, with headlines speculating about the behavior of the once wholesome stars. Despite the criticism, fans remained supportive, with many expressing concern for their well-being. "Dana's smile lit up our screens," one fan recalled. "It's heartbreaking to think about what she might have been going through behind the scenes." The media frenzy around Diff'rent Strokes only intensified as the cast became larger-than-life figures in the public eye. Paparazzi followed their every move, and any misstep was amplified in gossip columns and talk shows. Dana, who had once been celebrated for her talent and charisma, began to feel the weight of the industry's demands. The entertainment world, which had embraced her so warmly, seemed ill-equipped to support her through the challenges of growing up in the public eye. Even so, Dana's choice to pursue acting over skating wasn't without its moments of triumph. Her portrayal of Kimberly Drummond left an indelible mark on pop culture. Social media today often lights up with nostalgia for Diff'rent Strokes, with fans sharing clips of Dana's heartfelt performances and reflecting on the joy she brought to their childhoods. "She made Kimberly feel like a friend," one fan tweeted. "Watching her was like having someone who understood you." The show continues to air in reruns, keeping Dana's legacy alive for new generations to discover. Family and career struggles. The year 1984 was both a milestone and a breaking point for Dana Plato, a year that changed the course of her life forever. News of her pregnancy sent shockwaves through her career, particularly in the carefully curated world of Diff'rent Strokes. The show had built its success on portraying a wholesome, family-friendly image, and for producers, Dana's pregnancy simply didn't align with the vision they wanted to maintain. Despite her years of dedication and her role as Kimberly Drummond, a character beloved by fans across the nation, Dana was abruptly written off the show. The decision was met with mixed reactions from fans. Some felt the network had been too harsh, criticizing the double standard that allowed male stars to navigate personal changes without jeopardizing their careers. Dana Plato's pregnancy in 1984 highlighted the glaring double standards in Hollywood at the time. While male actors were often allowed to navigate personal milestones without professional repercussions, Dana's situation as a young, unmarried actress was met with harsh judgment. Producers of Diff'rent Strokes felt her pregnancy didn't fit the show's family-friendly image. Despite her years of dedication, they abruptly decided to write her off. This decision underscored how the entertainment industry often penalized women for deviating from narrow societal expectations. Dana's attempts to redefine herself after this setback were met with resistance, as she struggled to shed the America's sweetheart image that had been thrust upon her. The media, which once celebrated her as a rising star, began scrutinizing her every move, reducing her complex story to salacious headlines. Dana's marriage to Lanny Lambert initially seemed like a step toward stability, but the relationship was far from idyllic. While the birth of their son, Tyler, brought moments of joy, the couple faced mounting tensions exacerbated by Dana's career struggles and substance abuse issues. Friends of the pair described their dynamic as turbulent, with Dana yearning for emotional support while Lanny, overwhelmed by the pressures of their young family, often withdrew. Their eventual divorce in 1988, occurring just days after Dana lost her mother, left her grappling with profound grief and loneliness. The custody battle for Tyler, which she ultimately lost due to her personal challenges, marked one of the most painful chapters of her life. The double burden of public criticism and private loss further isolated Dana, cementing the perception that the entertainment world was ill-equipped to support women like her who struggled to meet its impossible standards. Others, however, saw it as an inevitable consequence of the industry's rigid expectations. In the midst of her professional turmoil, Dana married Lanny Lambert, the father of her child, in what seemed like a hopeful step toward stability. The birth of her son, Tyler, was undoubtedly a bright spot in her life, offering a sense of purpose and joy amid growing challenges. Yet the pressures of motherhood, coupled with her desire to break free from the Diff'rent Strokes mold, weighed heavily on her. The media, which had once celebrated her as a young star, began to shift its tone. Headlines increasingly painted her as a former child star struggling to remain relevant, a narrative that only added to the mounting pressure. Desperate to rebuild her career, Dana took on a variety of roles, but the projects she landed were far removed from the glitz and glamour of her sitcom days. From low-budget B-movies to video games and even adult films, these choices became fodder for tabloid gossip. Fans who had grown up watching her on Diff'rent Strokes were divided in their reactions. Some voiced their disappointment, feeling she had tarnished the image of Kimberly Drummond, while others sympathized, understanding the harsh realities of an industry that often discards its young stars once they no longer fit the mold. Then in 1988, Dana's life took a tragic turn. In the span of a single week, She lost two of the most important people in her life. Her mother, who had been a guiding force throughout her career, passed away. Simultaneously, her marriage to Lambert fell apart, leaving Dana to grapple with an overwhelming sense of loss. Fans and media outlets alike expressed their condolences, but the spotlight on her personal life only intensified. The tabloids were relentless, covering every detail of her divorce and hinting at the struggles that lay behind closed doors. Adding to the heartbreak, Lambert was granted custody of their son, Tyler, citing Dana's growing issues with substance abuse. For Dana, losing her child was a devastating blow. The media sensationalized the custody battle, with headlines framing her as a troubled star who had fallen from grace. This portrayal only deepened her isolation as she faced public scrutiny on top of her personal pain. Despite the hardships, Dana's fans remained a complex mix of critics and supporters. While some harshly judged her choices, others rallied behind her, calling out the entertainment industry for failing to support young stars like Dana during their most vulnerable moments. On fan forums and in letters, people expressed their hope that she would find her footing again. They remembered the bright, charismatic young girl who had brought Kimberly Drummond to life and wished for a second act that would allow her to reclaim her narrative. Financial decline and legal troubles. Dana Plato's desperate fight to revive her career and rebuild her life is a heartbreaking chapter in her journey, one that captivated fans and shocked the world. By the late 1980s, Dana was determined to shed her image as a child star and reintroduce herself to Hollywood as a mature, sophisticated actress. She took bold steps, including hiring a new accountant to manage her finances and undergoing breast augmentation surgery to reshape her public persona. In 1989, she posed for a Playboy photo shoot, unveiling a new, confident side of herself. Fans and media alike were intrigued by this transformation, with headlines calling it her comeback moment. Despite the initial buzz, the Hollywood doors Dana hoped to reopen remained closed. Casting directors still viewed her as Kimberly Drummond, the sweet, innocent teenager from Diff'rent Strokes. Breaking free from this typecast proved almost impossible, and no major roles materialized. Fans who cheered for her comeback expressed frustration with an industry that couldn't see beyond her past. She deserved a second chance, one fan wrote in an open letter. Dana had so much more to offer than just being a child star. Adding to her challenges, Dana's financial situation unraveled in a devastating betrayal. The accountant she trusted embezzled most of her savings and disappeared, leaving her bankrupt. This cruel twist of fate sent her life into a downward spiral, stripping away what little stability she had left. For fans, this was a heartbreaking revelation. They watched someone they had adored growing up face one blow after another, and many felt helpless as her struggles became tabloid fodder. Forced to start over, Dana moved to Las Vegas in search of a fresh start. She took on retail and service jobs, far removed from the glamorous life she had once known. Seeing a former TV star working behind a counter or waiting tables shocked many, and for Dana, it must have been a painful reminder of how far she had fallen from her Hollywood dreams. Yet, her determination to survive showed a resilience that inspired those who still believed in her. She's doing what she can to get by. That's real strength, a fan commented in a local Vegas news article. But as financial pressures mounted, Dana made a desperate and impulsive decision that would forever alter how the public viewed her. In 1991, she robbed a Las Vegas video store with a pellet gun, walking away with less than $200. The act was a cry for help, rooted in despair and hopelessness. Her arrest just minutes later dominated headlines, with tabloids painting her as a fallen star who had hit rock bottom. Fans were stunned, grappling with how someone who once lit up their screens could find herself in such dire circumstances. Amid the media frenzy, there was a glimmer of humanity in the form of entertainer Wayne Newton. The Las Vegas icon stepped in to bail Dana out, sparing her from immediate jail time. This act of kindness reignited hope for her future, and fans rallied around her, urging her to find a way back to stability. "We're rooting for you, Dana," one fan wrote in a heartfelt letter published in a local paper. "You've been through so much, don't give up now." Unfortunately, Dana's struggles with addiction made recovery an uphill battle. She violated her probation by forging prescriptions for Valium, leading to a 30-day jail sentence and mandatory rehab. This period was a critical moment in her life, a chance for intervention and healing. But the grip of addiction proved too strong. Despite these efforts, Dana's personal battles continued to overshadow any progress she tried to make. The media coverage during this time often sensationalized her struggles, focusing on her mistakes rather than the root causes of her pain. Tabloids ran exploitative headlines that reduced her story to scandal, overlooking the systemic failures and lack of support that had contributed to her downward spiral. Fans, however, were more empathetic. Online forums and fan clubs shared messages of support, with many expressing their hope that Dana would eventually find peace. "She was human like the rest of us," one fan wrote. "She made mistakes, but she was trying. That's what matters." Death and legacy. On May 8, 1999, the world was devastated by the tragic loss of Dana Plato. At just 34 years old, the beloved Diff'rent Strokes star passed away in her RV while visiting family in Oklahoma alongside her fiancé, Robert Menchaca. The cause of her death, a drug overdose, was ruled a suicide, leaving fans and the entertainment industry grappling with the heartbreaking end to a life that had once shone so brightly. Dana's death was a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by child stars, particularly the immense pressures that come with early fame. Dana Plato's death left an indelible mark on those who knew her personally. Todd Bridges, her Diff'rent Strokes co-star, shared in a heartfelt interview, "Dana had such a loving and giving heart. She was like a sister to me, and it's heartbreaking that she didn't get the love and support she truly deserved." Similarly, friends and family members spoke of her generosity, often recalling how she would go out of her way to lift the spirits of those around her, even while she silently struggled. Dana's tragic journey also highlighted the systemic challenges faced by child stars of her era. The intense pressures of Hollywood, lack of mental health resources, and the unrealistic expectations placed on young performers contributed to a toxic environment where many felt isolated. Dana's son, Tyler Lambert, carried his mother's legacy with him, often speaking about how her struggles shaped his outlook on life. Tragically, Tyler's journey ended in heartbreak when he took his own life in 2010, just days before Mother's Day, a devastating echo of his mother's fate. The dual tragedies of Dana and Tyler remind us of the urgent need for compassion, understanding, and systemic change to protect young stars and their families from the harsh realities of fame. Her life, marked by incredible highs and devastating lows, became a cautionary tale that resonated deeply with fans, peers, and critics alike. The news of her passing sent shockwaves across the world, with tributes pouring in from fans who had grown up watching her portray Kimberly Drummond, the kind and caring teenager in Diff'rent Strokes. Social media platforms, fan forums, and news outlets were flooded with messages of grief and remembrance. One heartfelt post read, "Dana Plato was a part of our childhood. She made us laugh, she made us care, and it breaks my heart to know how much she suffered behind the scenes." Another fan wrote, She brought so much joy to others, yet the world couldn't give her the happiness she deserved. These messages painted a picture of collective mourning as fans reflected on Dana's enduring impact on their lives. Her tragic passing also reignited discussions in the media about the dark side of Hollywood and the entertainment industry's failure to support its youngest stars. Tabloids that had once exploited Dana's struggles with addiction and financial hardship were now publishing retrospectives about her life, with many critics pointing out the lack of compassion she had received during her most vulnerable moments. Documentaries, talk shows, and op-eds began to analyze the systemic issues that contributed to Dana's struggles, from the pressures of constant media scrutiny to the lack of mental health resources available to child actors. Adding to the tragedy was the fact that Dana's death came just one day after what appeared to be a hopeful moment. On May 7, 1999, she made a candid appearance on The Howard Stern Show, where she openly discussed her challenges and expressed hope for a brighter future. Fans who listened to the broadcast were struck by her honesty and vulnerability, with many calling in to share messages of support. "We believe in you, Dana," one caller said, echoing the sentiments of countless others who were rooting for her. The optimism she displayed that day made the news of her death all the more heartbreaking, as it became clear how much pain she was still carrying. The entertainment industry also paid tribute to Dana in the wake of her passing. Her former co-stars from Diff'rent Strokes expressed their sorrow, with Todd Bridges remarking, "Dana was like a sister to me. She had such a big heart, and it hurts to know she felt so alone." Fans and colleagues alike reflected on the incredible warmth and talent she brought to her work, as well as the systemic failures that left her without the support she needed. Dana's life story has since become a cornerstone in conversations about the mental health struggles of child stars. It has sparked calls for better protections for young performers, emphasizing the need for mentorship, counseling, and financial education to help them navigate the pressures of fame. Her struggles with addiction have also been a rallying cry for greater awareness and compassion for those battling similar demons, with advocacy groups often citing her story as an example of why systemic change is necessary. Despite the tragedy of her passing, Dana Plato's legacy lives on through her work and the lives she touched. Diff'rent Strokes continues to air in syndication, introducing her performance as Kimberly Drummond to new generations of viewers. Social media platforms frequently light up with nostalgic posts about the show, with fans sharing clips of her most memorable scenes and expressing gratitude for the joy she brought into their lives. Dana will always be remembered for the light she brought to the screen, one fan shared on a tribute page. She was a beautiful soul who deserved so much more. Dana Plato's story serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges that often come with early fame. Behind the radiant smile and iconic role of Kimberly Drummond was a woman grappling with pain, addiction, and the weight of public scrutiny. Though her life was tragically cut short, her journey continues to resonate with fans and serves as a cautionary tale for the pressures of stardom. Thank you for joining us as we explored the life of this unforgettable actress. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories that dive beneath the surface of Hollywood's most fascinating figures. See you in the next video.